Infinity Strash Dragon Quest The Adventures of Dai is coming out relatively soon, and so far it looks to be a pretty solid game and a pretty good holdover game for games like Dragon Quest 12 and 3 HD 2D. But there was one thing I noticed. Square Enix was being pretty sneaky about how they're going to release this game here in the West. As you look in the video description for the Infinity Strash video, you'll notice one thing in the way bottom. That being, releasing worldwide digitally September 28th. First off, what was the emphasis on the word digital? Is it going to be releasing here in the West physically? And to put further fuel on that fire, none of the major retailers so far have any listings for physical copies of Infinity Strash here in the West. And in Japan, they've already had pre-orders ready to go for the physical copies. So we're basically left to assume, at least here in the West, Dragon Quest The Adventures of Dai Infinity Strash will be a digital-only release. So why is that the case? Well, we can assume, seeing how this generation is a more digital-centric generation where more people are buying digitally, Square Enix may want to test the waters and see how a digital-only AAA title from them that costs $60 would do here in the West. Though that kind of destroys the argument when this game's releasing physically in Japan. So there must be a deeper reason to why they're not releasing a physical copy here. And when you look at the Q4 2022 fiscal earnings, things become a little more clear of why this game is not getting a physical release. And before we get into this, I know Dragon Quest Treasures has become a punching bag for this channel, but we need to talk about this. Dragon Quest Treasures was a financial flop for Square Enix. They've said before this game did not meet sales expectations for their 2022 fiscal earnings. And based on hard numbers, we only know the sales in Japan being 274,000 copies, which is relatively low for a Dragon Quest game in Japan. And when you have the general knowledge that Dragon Quest games tend to do much worse here in the West, this game probably didn't even crack 100,000 units here in North America or Europe. Which leads me to the speculation that due to the fact that Dragon Quest Treasures did not do well, Square Enix felt that it was too risky to produce physical copies of Infinity Strash and ultimately decided to go with a digital release just so they could have more realistic sales expectations for the game. And that does make sense right there, but I would also argue that there's a little bit of an overreaction from Square Enix's part. Well, for one, these two games are completely different in terms of the marketing and the focus of the game. In terms of marketing, Square Enix has done a much better job at marketing Infinity Strash, and definitely for sure there's more people interested in something like Infinity Strash due to the fact that Dragon Quest The Adventures of Dai is a shonen property, and there's a lot of people who are into those kind of things. And as for the game's focus, obviously Dragon Quest Treasures didn't really have a clear focus on the game it wanted to be, while Infinity Strash clearly has a focus of being this more arena fighter, Dynasty Warriors-like game, and definitely does benefit for that. And to top it all off, Dragon Quest Treasures was a game that only released on Nintendo Switch, while Infinity Strash is a game that's launching on almost every single console, even on Xbox for God's sakes. So yeah, overall I do believe that there's a little bit of an overreaction from Square Enix. They probably should have went out their way and produced physical copies for this game, because this game, I can tell you for sure, will do much better than Dragon Quest Treasures. But it is what it is. The game seems to be a digital-only release here in the West, and if you want a physical copy, you might as well import it from Japan. But anyways, what do you guys think about the fact that this is going to be a digital-only release for Infinity Strash? Let me know in the comments down below. Plus, don't forget to leave this video a like and subscribe as well. And if you want to see more Dragon Quest videos, check out these videos here. See you guys on the next one. Take care.